And here we go. Welcome, everybody, to our Wednesday live stream. We're talking about Predator Badlands tonight. We are Earth's Mightiest Critics, and I am joined by David Fowley of Keeping It Real and filmmaker and co-host of our Indie Scene series, Sajiwa Ekanayaka. Gentlemen, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm very well.
Ready for the hunt.
Woohoo! Well, that makes one of us at least. My thoughts on Predator Badlands can best be summed up by a twist on a line from John McTiernan's 1987 Predator, specifically related to the fact that the Disney Corporation now owns all the IP in the Fox library, along with Marvel, Star Wars, Tron, Pixar, Alien, etc., etc. If it's a franchise, we can kill it. Despite this movie having a stellar Rotten Tomatoes score and being the #1 film at the box office last weekend, Dan Trachtenberg's third go at the series has cemented my disinterest in any Predator-related movies going forward. We'll get more into that and in spoilerific detail later. But first, I want to get the high-level thoughts of my friends and fellow panelists, who I'm guessing did not share my frequent urges to leave the theater during Predator Badlands. So, David Fowley, let's start with you.
I loved it.
You loved it. All right.
I had a blast watching Dan Trachtenberg's third Predator movie, and really enjoyed it. I just had a blast with the world building and the characters and the action, and it was nice in this award season time just to kind of mix it up and dive into some sci-fi fun and action.
All the things you listed are the things that I did not like about this movie, so this is gonna be a fun evening.
Yeah.
Mark, the movie man, Krawcheck of Special Mark Productions, how you doing, sir?
Hello.
Oh, you got the thing.
I've got the thing.
Nice.
Here's the question: where does the popcorn go? Is that just okay? It's a very Millennium Falcon.
If you really want to put popcorn in it, but why would you? But it's a cool ship. It's a very cool ship.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break into your place to steal that later today.
My friend got me the helmet, the face helmet thing.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna have to steal that also.
Also, one of the problems I had with this movie, coincidentally enough, Sajiwa, what did you make of Predator Badlands?
Predator Babylands is I think it's a new branch in the Predator family of movies. I thought it was like a Mandalorian episode, and as a regular feature film, I didn't think it was well done with the 3 acts or whatever, right? It definitely wasn't a regular Predator movie, but for what it was, I had a good time watching the movie, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars on my Letterboxd review. So on a scale of 10, it might be like a 7, but it's definitely not a good or even at all a Predator movie. So I have my complaints, and we probably agree on that because there are lots of. This is a teen movie. It's it's like a teen adventure alien with his buddies, and sort of humanizing or human morality applied to the predators. I mean, their belief system is different. It's making a bunch of money. As such, for the film biz, for the kids, it's an interesting movie, but not a good Predator movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's about right. I kept feeling while I was watching this that this felt to me like one of those classic cases of someone had a script that they dusted off and said, "Hey, let's slap the Predator on this and make it not generic space adventure movie." But in doing that, they kind of damaged both the generic space adventure movie and the Predator, which I went back and I watched the original film yesterday, and that was probably a huge mistake because, man, there's no comparison.
That's
Mark,
classic compared to this.
Well, but it kind of goes back to, and I know I've ragged on franchises and IP, and my refrain for this year has been, people ask me, well, what would you do? And my answer is I would just stop. and do something else, because none of these things are doing anything imaginative or good or interesting or even memorable. This is just going to be Predator 6 or whatever it is.
But the formula of a human trying to survive a real predator, like in the movie one, that's not going to go old. If there's lots of fresh ways to do that. World War II, any of the many wars happening. So I think they could keep doing that, and there will be an audience for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there'll be an audience for it. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, I feel like we're however many movies in now, and no one is really saying or doing anything new. So I'm not convinced that there is new territory to be tread. It's, a badass human being against a space alien who comes to Earth to hunt them. And then the person wins. I mean, that's basically it. Even the concept.
Klingons, I think more could be done with it.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
The Predators, the Yautja, or whatever they're called, they're kind of like the Klingons. I think more could be done with them.
I mean, potentially, if you establish any kind of a relationship as far as like a spacefaring, warrior culture, because the Klingons have dialogue and trade and wars and relations with other members of the Star Trek Federation. The Yautja have always been, these kind of solitary creatures that come. I mean, every movie is essentially the same, even when you get down to Alien versus Predator.
Story.
Yes, and you would, but it's not clear to me that there's any interest in really doing that, especially as evidenced by this movie. But before we get too far afield, Mark, high-level thoughts.
Well, one, I disagree with you that they aren't exploring. I think they are exploring. I think they don't have a full cohesive idea of what they want to do with the Yautja. I honestly don't think they know exactly what they want to do with them. But I had a blast with it. I had fun. Is it a Predator movie as following the other Predator movies? No, it's not. Even my son said this isn't a Predator movie, but my son even had and enjoyed the film, and he is a big Predator fan of the original one. He doesn't like 2 at all. He does like Predators, so he really enjoyed that.
Predators was great.
Predators was great. Of all of them, Predators was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than the Predator. So, and in this one, I enjoyed it I almost took it as its own thing.
Yeah.
When I went into it and I saw what they were doing with the brother storyline and everything, I'm like, okay, I see what we're going to do with this. And I kind of took it as its own thing. Like you would go to the comic book store, grab off the shelf. You got 3 different Predator storylines or whatever, and you would just grab this one. And this one happens to be exploring this angle and taking this approach with the character. And I had fun. I enjoy a good adventure, a fun adventure story. I thought Elle Fanning, she reminded me a bit, if you've ever seen Turbo Kid. Turbo Kid still
how dare you? No, there is no.
To Apple? What?
Apple was not annoying as hell. She's a female protagonist,
I didn't find Elle Fanning's character annoying as hell at all. I found the spirit of Apple.
The babbling space Karen. There is no way that she is a synthetic created by Weyland-Yutani Corporation. No way. Her story makes no sense at all. And the result of her programming doesn't work.
We don't
even
really
in the
know
context
her story.
of
We don't really know her story.
Yes, we do. She was a synthetic who was paired up with the dark version of her or whatever, put on this planet as part of this Weyland-Yutani research team. They gave them emotions or feelings in order to better deal with the life that they encounter on the planet, which makes no sense because they're basically there to examine slugs and worms. And I don't know how empathy gets them, it helps them decide what berry is worth bringing back to Weyland-Yutani. It's all set up and pretense, but once you dig into it at all, it starts to fall apart.
This is the teen revenue stream from the Predator franchise. They're like, we need to make some money off this. Let's make a Mandalorian movie.
Right. I mean, you can make an android with a personality. I mean, I hate to say that we've seen an alien Earth, but we have. But even before that, you've got, David, you've got Bishop. I mean, Bishop was a funny character because of the reaction with the people around him. He wasn't a guy who was spouting off one-liners. They don't even establish that her personality tics and her running off of the mouth and saying quirky things was the result of any kind of damage to her. That might have been something, but I'm just supposed to believe that this is the personality that Weyland-Yutani programmed for their science mission to the deadliest planet in the galaxy. Why not?
And how she talks to the predator, the Deck, the teen predator, is not the best way to talk to a predator. So I don't know what the android is thinking. At first.
Well, on top of that, they seem to know a lot about the Yautja, except when they don't, because there's that bizarre scene towards the end when Thea, one of the Elle Fanning characters, is talking to her sister Tessa, who's the evil version, and Tessa says, "Okay, now I want you to explain all of the Yautja tech." Why would they need to do that? They've been studying these people, these creatures, enough to have a translator, a universal translator for their language. So that, again, every scene in this movie, and this has been a problem for, I'm going to say most of the movies I've seen this year, but definitely every movie that has an opening title card for some reason loves to present 5 questions for every 5 minutes of screen time. And by the end of it, like by the middle of it, I was not kidding when I said I just wanted to get up and leave. And I was not rewarded by the experience, because by the end of the film, I was like, yeah, I could have left. There was no surprises. There was no reason to stick around. Except the one exception, though, they did the Predator 2 thing. I think this has not been confirmed, but it looked enough. When they go to the trophy case on the Predator ship, the giant skull in the middle looked like the alien from Independence Day. So maybe that crossover is coming. That's the only thing I got out of this movie.
That would be fun.
Ian, Steve Martini said he'll join on the comments at YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, jump in, Steve.
So you didn't have fun, Ian, at the show?
No, I was miserable.
That's terrible.
No, especially because I've come to expect certain things from the Fox franchises, from Predator, from Alien. These are movies that are essentially, that's a horror movie in space, or it's a war movie in space, or it's a meathead 80s action movie about jungle warfare. But what these movies actually are franchise starting movies full of ideas and cleverness and patience and genuine characters. Everything is out front in this movie. You watch the original Predator, and the Yautja's technology is gradually revealed to us over the course of the movie. We don't know what he can do at the beginning of this film, but as we see it, even we see the laser beams coming out of the jungle, like, where is that coming from? How does that work? Gradually learn, hey, he's got a shoulder mounted cannon and all this other stuff. There's a scene at the beginning of Badlands when he's crash landed on this planet where you can see the screenwriter saying, okay, we want to show all this stuff, so let's have him take inventory of everything. But he literally lays out everything that he's going to use in the movie. And the entire montage of him navigating these tricky, dangerous environs and encountering all these creatures, all he does is he collects those and uses them in a giant montage at the end to fight, against everything else, which, yeah, I could see that being a thing. If this was my first movie, watching my first movie, or writing my first movie, this is half draft stuff. And the weaponry of the Predator creates a problem with the Calisk, the giant beastie that is the scourge of the Predators. This movie opens with a title card that says the Yautja are predator to all, friend to none, prey to none. 10 minutes later, hey, there's this planet with this thing called the Calisk, and all the predators are afraid of it because no one has ever returned from hunting this thing. And the father's like, yeah, or the brother's like, yeah, dad would never go after the Calisk. He's scared. Okay. The predators the Yautja have ostensibly been trying to fight this thing or go after it for, I would imagine, a long time, because it's a legendary beast. Yet they have within their arsenal the very device that captures it and allows it to be taken off planet. Some things happen, things go wrong, but it is frozen using one of those little freeze grenade balls and put onto a cargo ship. So how long have they been doing this? And no one thought to, hey, let's try every weapon against this thing and see if it works. Again, question number 25 out of 525 I had with this movie. And, Predator is not a deep film, but at least it knows enough to stay out of its own way by not introducing a bunch of offbeat, contradictory ideas and things that would cause you to pull over and say, wait, what? Simple.
What did we all like about the movie?
It ended. I got that. That's the plus column. What do we like about it, guys?
Oh, you want to know what we like? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, feel free to challenge me on any of these points, guys. I know you had fun of it and it's a good time and everything, but you can literally say that about everything. We're here to talk like film criticism, right?
Yeah, your points are correct. That things were brought in as the plot and the movie needed it, and a lot of it didn't make much sense. The big monster being a friendly giant cat towards the end, something like that, doesn't make any sense. The walking half of the body.
Actually, I would challenge that the big beast not actually being as violent as they thought made a lot of sense, and I actually appreciated that because it was actually showing that the Yautja, the only reason the beast would attack them, and this goes back to what Ian was saying with the opening of Predator to None. The Kalisk does not hunt the predator. The Kalisk defends itself from the predator. It is not actually hunting the Yautja at all. It actually gets there and it's defending, and we find out later that it's defending one of its children. So it's actually a beast that is just acting on its natural instincts. It is not actually intending to hunt specifically the Yautja because they're out there, but it does see them as a threat, and therefore it protects its kids. So in that respect, if you want to take the term of predator, but as far as it being actually kind at the end, I thought it did make sense because the only time we ever see the Kalisk is when it's defending itself from the predator because it sees itself as a threat. It's a creature. I mean, you walk up to a dog's going to growl at you at first unless it knows that you're not a threat. So I guess for me, anyway, that part, Ian's part about the weapons, I agree. And my son and I had that discussion going, the Yautja have been trying to, that's the part where I wish they would have left out, that they've been trying to get this Kalisk for a long time or whatever, because that was a flaw in their approach. But as far as the creature actually being a nice creature, Sajiwa, I would say I actually liked that angle because it showed that there was more to the creature and it wasn't what everybody thought it was. Because
it's a very Disney story outcome.
I was just about to say that, Sajiwa. That is what Disney has been doing for over a decade now. Is taking monsters and creatures and villains and turning them into just, victims of circumstance or nature. And that's fine, but it's also boring, especially because you mentioned the Mandalorian in the opening. We didn't need the Baby Yoda type character, Bud, who also Elle Fanning's character, Thea, knows about the Kalisk. Okay. Weyland-Yutani has been studying this thing. They know what it can do. They want to bring it back. It's just very difficult. Yet somehow this android doesn't know what a baby Kalisk looks like, because Deck, our predator, has to point out like, oh yeah, that little thing that the audience has been looking at looks an awful lot like the adult version of it. That thing is the baby version of the giant thing. And she says, what?
Yeah, no, but one, the baby had been hidden for some time. It doesn't look like the Kalisk at all when you look at it. It doesn't have many of the.
I recognize that thing right off the bat, and on top of that, this synth has been studying this creature. It is a supercomputer that's connected to another network of supercomputers, networked to a corporation that wants to study this thing and bring it back. It's kind of like saying, wait, this face hugger, that doesn't look like a xenomorph.
They've only witnessed the big Kalisk. They didn't even look for the child because they thought the Kalisk was on its own. But besides
there's no evidence for that. There's no evidence for that in the movie, though.
Okay,
are we supposed to believe this is the only one of these creatures on planet?
Where Deck figured it out wasn't because he automatically knew what it was. He figured it out because he was spat upon by the little creature. And when the mom came up to it, it sniffed him and it left him be.
I'm not
So I'm just
disputing
saying
that Dex
I'm
wouldn't
just-
know it. I'm just wondering why the all-knowing, all-powerful android doesn't know it. If
because
that's what
you
it's there
only know
for.
what you've observed. And if they didn't even observe the monkey creature, which was the only monkey creature out there, they wouldn't know about it.
No,
And,
Mark,
they've been
I'm
focusing
not.
on the
I'm talking
callus.
about this Thea and her cohorts.
Yeah,
the rest
I
of
know what you're talking
Weyland-Yutani.
about.
They knew about this creature
Right.
before they got to the planet. Okay, so they would ostensibly know about its life cycle, what it might look like when it's not
It's
full grown.
a big
They are
assumption, but
No, it's not. They are scientists. It's not like we're going to this planet and we've
Are they?
discovered
But
something.
we also
discovered something and now we're going to capture it.
we also don't know how they actually knew of the callus. The callus could very well just have been of a legend, and they came there because there was enough talk of it
No,
that they come down
Weyland-Yutani
and look at it.
doesn't do anything based on legend. Okay,
Sure they do.
the Yautja perhaps. Well, okay, explain to me why you think the Weyland-Yutani Corporation would invest billions or trillions of dollars setting up a base camp on a planet to capture something because of a myth.
Well, one thing I want to add in before I forget is the Yautja could have gotten killed from the planet, not necessarily from the callus, right? In this case, Deck had a robot that was helping him out to survive the planet. So the Yautja might fear not just the callus but the entire planet because no Yautja has come back. It's possible it wasn't the callus that killed these other hunters. It was the other nasties on the planet.
Well, I mean that
Right.
brings up another question. It's kind of like the old trope of the horror story. Like this horrible thing is out there. No one is it kills everybody who comes in contact with it. No one has ever come back. So how do you know all this stuff about it if no one's come back to tell the tale? There's another issue that kind of is tangentially related to this, which is, one of the things about the Predator lore that has kind of gotten lost over the years, especially with AVP, because it's in the beginning of that movie, most of it takes place in Antarctic ice, is they come to Earth during the hottest environments during the hottest parts of the year to hunt, which would imply, and this is popular among fandom going back decades since the original film came out, that their home world would probably be very hot, most likely a jungle planet because that's where they seem to thrive. And yet when we see, I'm not even kidding, folks, this is what they call the frickin' planet, Yautja Prime. What we see of it is a barren rock planet with people or Yautja living in these caves with skulls adorned all over the place. It doesn't look very hot. In fact, it looks pretty cold. And I get it's one part of a planet. So maybe the technology center where they make all these amazing gadgets and forge all this armor on a mass scale and produce the spaceships that they use to traverse the galaxy, maybe that's somewhere else. Maybe Deck's family lives in the boondocks. But when you're telling a story that's all about choices and you are showing for the first time the Predator homeworld, a place that's been speculated about for nearly 4 decades, I'm sorry, you don't go to the boondocks and say, oh, here it is. It's kind of like saying, Earth, what do the Earthlings do? Where do they? What makes them tick? And instead of going to like Chicago or New York or something, like we'll go to the rainforest. That's what they're all about. Sorry, David, go ahead.
Spock is a Vulcan. His home planet is Vulcan.
Yeah.
So
I understand that.
I had no problem with Yautja Prime.
I do, because Vulcan, I mean, that's a classic name, right? But it's also, we don't call Earth human. Come up with something a bit more imaginative. So, Yautja Prime is that's a video game name, right? It's a minor point, but when I saw that on the screen, that was one of my first major eye rolls of this. I'm like, this is about the depth. It's a mile wide and an inch deep with this film.
So you could eye roll with the same, for the same reasoning, you could eye roll Vulcan species, Vulcan planet.
No, because I'm giving that the benefit of being 60 years old.
Okay.
So you're saying the Yautja world is not well developed?
The
No.
Yautja Prime angle that didn't bother me because you read and watch enough sci-fi. That's usually the default of whatever species you have. They're usually named after the planet that they're from.
By
Yeah.
hacks, yes, I get it. Yes.
Yeah, not by many sci-fi folks. Now, I'm not saying classic sci, but folks who have found entertaining. What I will say with the Yautja is the mistake that they've made after Prey. I really enjoyed Prey. I love Prey. I had a lot of fun with Prey. I liked seeing, primitive versus advanced tech type angle with that. What I didn't care for, and I know I'm in the minority, but I might be in the same wheelhouse as Ian. I didn't care for Killer of Killers.
I watched that the other day, and I think out of the hour and a half, I really liked about 3 minutes of it, probably about a minute from each of the stories, and those were the 1 minutes where something unexpected happened, usually involving a fight.
The of the 3 stories of Killer of Killers, I liked the samurai one because that was the one that felt most like it was a setting. The one that was the most ridiculous was the ship going against the World War II fighters. I don't see how a Yautja could even see that as a challenge, considering, and so it's right there where they're trying to start to change the lore, especially with the end of it and the ending that they changed with, putting the guys who beat Yautja on ice. This makes
That
very
was
little.
added later too.
Yeah, I know it was added later, but by adding it later too, it didn't make a lot of sense. They're trying to explore the Yautja culture, and I'm going to say that they haven't done that well since the thing that we were hoping they would make the movie from, and they didn't. Alien versus Predator, the first 6-issue Dark Horse comic series, did its best explaining the Yautja and their culture better than any of the sequels or anything have tried to establish. And I wish they would have made that movie, and I don't understand how, because that was a great template for, like, all you got to do is take this and make the live action version of it, because the script of that story gave you more in-depth knowledge of the Yautja without sacrificing what you know of the Yautja. And that's what they are doing here. And I will agree that I'm not liking the Dune approach they're taking with the Yautja. Now, the Yautja that we see here with Deck, apparently, and my son was reading up, they're a rural tribe. There are supposedly more urban centers of the Yautja, and these guys are more like, not gonna say the very rural, but close. They're rural. They follow more a slightly different path, and
They live in the Australian outbacks.
kind of, yeah. So
And that's interesting, Mark. But I mean, and I really mean that sincerely. But my question as a viewer is, how are these Yautja that we meet any different than the other Yautja? Because they have all the same equipment and same weapons and stuff. So it might as well not be a difference.
No, and I get that. As far as the equipment and the tech goes, it's their practices, I think, that were kind of implied. The thing is, for me, I'm not saying that the film was perfect by any means. I had fun with the main characters. I had fun with the action and the sequences. It's nice to see a sci-fi film again, like actual sci-fi, to where your main character isn't the human, while you do have a synth companion who is pretty much a human. It was still fun to see them take that and at least put a different slight spin on it. And I
thought it was like a Mandalorian, and I was like, oh yeah, let's get into this. So,
please! I mean, the thing is with Elle Fanning, I know Elle Fanning, Ian, you said she was annoying. What I will say is their approach to her, and I think they don't say it fully, but I think it's implied she may have been damaged. But because of her little twitches and that, and the fact she was ripped in half. But what I will say is they handled her naivety, I hope I pronounced it right. I probably ruined that word. I apologize to all my scholars here on the panel.
No, you got it.
Close enough.
Thank you. They handled it a lot better than they did in Alien Earth. At least, they're still giving her kind of that childlike quality as far as her inquisitiveness, but at least there are moments to where she does, you can tell, maybe kick in with her original programming or whatnot, because she dials it back in just a few spots. And so it shows hints of it there. But I think they handled at least that part of it, of making a synth kind of childlike, far better than they did it.
But here's the point, Mark, that doesn't match up, because this movie takes place over 300 years in the future from Alien Earth.
True.
Secondly, those synths, the childlike synths, the hybrids,
right,
are from a different company with a different objective. Those were actually transferring the consciousness of actual children into these droids, or whatever you want to call them.
300 years, you can't say they didn't have industrial espionage and steal those secrets by then.
Yeah,
but what I'm talking about, Mark, is there's no reason to even think that they put a childlike mind into the body of Elle Fanning's character.
I wasn't implying that they actually put a child. I wasn't trying to imply, I'm sorry, that they actually put a child inside Elle Fanning. What I'm saying is that her character, her type of character, the childlike synth character personality, was handled better here than in there. I'm not saying that they actually.
I get it, but I get it. But the problem is, why do they have a childlike synth character again on a science mission to the galaxy's most dangerous planet?
And again, I took it as a malfunction, because there are parts of her, especially when later on when she gets on the ship and she's actually meets up with Tessa. Tessa even notices there's something wrong with her, and she does get a few dark moments in there, just hints at where she gets serious, and she's different than the Thea that we see throughout the rest of the film when she's talking to Tessa and she's on mission. So,
correct, but then she goes back to being this character shortly after. It is an inconsistency. And also,
I will fully agree with that.
At no point does Tessa say, "Why are you talking like an idiot? You didn't sound like this at all before you left we left the base."
Also, she's talking to a teenager. The Deck is a teenager, I think.
Yeah.
Right, but he's also that's the thing, though. We don't know anything about the Yautja in terms of this universe. Outside of this, the meta lore is that these creatures can live to be thousands of years old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So even if he's a teenager,
we
have to assume he's going to be a few hundred years old. And so a teenager in American or human culture, we might look at TikTok videos and go, "What an idiot." But this kid has been groomed, trained his entire life to be this super killer hunter. Now, whether or not he decides to divert from that path, that training is still in him. So I don't know why this, again, a synthetic who's been studying the Yautja, can speak its language to it, would decide to treat it with anything but mild fear that it might rip the rest of her into quarters and throw her off that cliff, when it's like, I get the whole idea of she's a tool and everything, but she doesn't contribute anything that I don't think he couldn't have figured out by himself if he were a predator like we've seen in the other films, who are conniving and patient and stealthy, and not like running through blades of exploding landmine flowers. Again, I see the script working at every turn of this film. It's just really annoying, because it didn't have these problems in 87 or 79.
So this is definitely a new kind of a Predator movie, right?
And it's a bad one.
Not the ones that we know. You can't say it's a bad movie. It's
I can. I
mean, sure you can, but as a practical thing, people are enjoying it. It works like a Mandalorian Disney story. So
look, Sejua, I'm saying for what you're saying, it's a Happy Meal version of a Predator movie.
It's a new.
But you also said at the beginning of this that it's not a good Predator movie.
No, so, it's not a good one compared to the old ones.
Right, and so
just
yes.
But
if you're trying to say that this movie exists in the continuity of both Predator and Alien, then that's like saying, well, Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin that's a Batman story, and it takes place in the same continuity as Tim Burton's Batman from 1989.
That's a different.
No, it's the same continuity. There are direct references in all four of those movies back to each other. So you're saying that because they exist,
there are,
yes, so you're saying that because Batman and Robin takes place in the same universe as Tim Burton's Batman, that they deserve to be talked about and given the same reverence as being good movies.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Listen, they took a set of ideas and they created a new kind of a thing, and they used a reject predator as the main character. This is not even a regular predator. This predator would have been killed had it not been for the purpose of the story, right? So it looks like deck type of predators get killed, as a regular practice. That's how they do it. They called the weak, as the synth said. So, yeah, it's not. They didn't try to make a Predator 1 type of movie or any of the other type of Predator movies. They made a new kind of teen Disney type Predator movie, and it has, for what it was trying to do, it's done a very good job.
So, are you saying that this is the best possible version of this story that they could tell?
No.
Then why are you saying that it's not a bad movie?
For what it is, it's a fine movie. I mean,
but is this the best? Is this even close to the best version of this type of movie that they could tell?
This is the first one. Who knows? For what it is, it's like a Mandalorian episode. It's pretty good.
So are you saying that there's no universe in which someone could write a film that has better character development, surprises, and patches over all the plot holes that we've talked about, and we haven't even gotten to all of them?
Any movie can be improved, but as it is, this one's doing pretty well.
Okay, but I guess we're almost there. Okay, any movie can be improved. So are you saying there is no such thing as a bad film? Because from where I'm standing, there's like, you gave this a 7 out of 10 or a 3 out of 5. I'm down in the 2s, and my estimation is slipping into the point.
You're not approaching it with an understanding of what it is.
I do understand what it is, and I also understand that I don't have to accept that this is a good movie because it is the movie that came out. Well, I can watch it and say, this is the movie that came out, and it's also full of problems that the rest of those movies in this franchise didn't succumb to. Now, again, yeah, there have been other movies. There have been bad movies in the franchise. Can we agree on that?
I would really argue that one. There's definitely some entries into this franchise that are, I would say, handled worse than this film was.
Not comparing to outside of Predator and Predator 2, this might be the most entertaining Predator movie, even though it's not really a Predator movie.
Yes, this is different, and that's one of the things that I liked about it. I mean, maybe it's the 12-year-old in me that's like, yes, if I was, a preteen or, a young teen, this would be my jam, and maybe that's why I liked it. I didn't find Thea annoying. I found it kind of refreshing. When I think about how fearsome and how threatening the first, the Predator was in the first movie, how entertaining that was and everything. This is like total opposite. Right. I was surprised to actually feel, kind of empathy for this teenage Yautja, Deck. And it's primarily because of the physicality of the actor in the suit, and also how advanced they've gotten with the expressiveness of the motion capture faces, and Ian, you could make your faces too, and that's obvious you didn't like that. But
it was this goes back to the Disneyfication of this franchise. We've got the Predator with the big eyes. They're just all expressive and shocked and surprised throughout the entire movie. You look back at the Predator makeup and the animatronic effects from that first film. There are ranges of emotions and expressions going across that thing's face that are done practically, and they mean far more than whatever is going on in this movie. We've got a Predator cracking jokes.
This is a new kind of a Predator movie.
This is a different Predator.
No, he cracked a couple of jokes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was funny. A couple times.
There's one where they're all sitting around the fire or whatever. And then what else?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I only saw this a couple hours ago, so there. Damn it! Oh, there was the thing. There was the thing about the legs. Is that the one that was by the fire? Because there was, yeah.
I actually didn't think that was like supposedly a humorous line, because I think he said, "You need to find your legs so I could be rid of you."
No, the whole setup of that was a joke because they repeated it. He said, "And legs," and she's like, "What did you say?" "And legs." Oh, because you know,
that was the campfire. That was the campfire joke. What was the other joke?
I'm trying to remember it, but there were a couple of moments. I think at one point, because it wasn't that line, but Thea actually said, "What are you making a joke?"
There were a couple of jokes. I forget which ones, but 3 or 4 throughout the movie.
I mean, I felt like some of there was even some physical humor that I enjoyed, like both halves of Thea fighting the other sense.
That was hilarious.
I loved that.
You liked that, Ian?
No, it was terrible.
No, I enjoyed it.
And here's let's get back to why doesn't it make sense? Because she makes a giant production when she finally finds her legs. It's a whole dramatic BS tension moment where the monster's attacking deck outside the tent or the ship, and she's inside trying to stitch herself back together and rejoin her legs. She finally does, and it's this complicated process, like this nanotechnology melding the top half and the bottom half together. And then later she becomes separated again, and then her legs are just like walking around. She's got full control of them, and then she just pops herself back on top of it, and she's walking around again. What happened to all that complexity of the separation? Didn't matter because it was just for the convenience of a cool action moment and kind of a sight gag.
This is a silly kids movie, and you're not the target audience for this.
No, here's the thing. I would not let my kids watch this because this is not a smart movie. David, you mentioned the 12-year-old in you. Can you imagine the 12-year-old version of yourself on a sleepover watching Predator and being like, my God, that was amazing. And then putting in Predator Badlands and not thinking, what is this kiddie nonsense?
It's what it is. It's a kids movie. It's a Disney movie. It's a Mandalorian episode. Now, 2 things I didn't like about this movie, since we're talking about the movie. One, during the promos, I really didn't like seeing a very humanoid robot half cut off, right? It didn't bug me during the movie because the movie moves fast, right? But during the early promo images, I was like, wow, that is not a nice image. Reminds me of like a decapitated dead human being carried around. I didn't like that. And also the cinematography on this compared to the first one, not good. This was like video mush compared to, how sharp the contrast, the rich colors of the first movie. I think they did it this way on this current one to make the effects work with the cube or the volume or whatever. But yeah, the cinematography wise, it wasn't good. But it is a kids movie. It cannot be judged as the Predator 1.
Well, I mean, that's we're just going to have to, I hate this phrase. We're going to have to agree to disagree on that because if this was generic sci-fi movie, again, I could see this being on the Sci-Fi Channel and people like, it kind of reminds me of a lame version of Predator. But because it is part of this continuous storyline, you gotta hold it up and say this is part of the legacy now. This is part of the Predator 8 film collection that's going to come out on 4K one of these days. A collection that's going to have exactly 1 disc that's going to get use and 7 will not.
I don't think the grown-ups will consider this to be a regular Predator movie. This is the first PG-13 Predator, right?
No, Alien versus Predator was the first PG-13 one.
Yeah, those movies were not great.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a defender of Alien versus Predator, but I do agree that it had the same problem as that. I mean, this movie got away with a lot in terms of like people being ripped limb from limb because they're not really people, they're robots. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the big complaints about Alien versus Predator was it was PG-13, so you didn't have the gore that a lot of the mm-hmm. 2 franchises were known for. But I think the ideas were kind of cool. I like what they did with Peter Weyland in that movie, and like the whole like thing with the temples and the alien queen like being defrosted and reigniting the egg sac. I thought there was some cool, nice ideas in there, it is just unfortunate that it did feel like they pulled their punches when it came to a lot of, making that into a more, I'm going to say, adult film. One thing I want to note, you mentioned digital quality, Sejua.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched Predator yesterday, I started watching the 4K. And then later on, I had to switch to the digital copy that came with it. And folks, this is one of the few times I will, and sorry, not the 4K, it was the Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
They did so much digital smoothing on that Blu-ray. It's unforgivable.
Blu-ray
When
or
I
the
switched
4K?
the Blu-ray, I haven't seen the 4K yet, so I don't know if they fixed it. But the digital copy, which I would have thought would be the same transfer, had that nice, rich, textured film grain. You look at Carl Weathers' introductory scene, and it looks like someone painted his face over with a smudge tool in Photoshop 5. But you look at it, you can see full details and like bumps from when he probably shaved right before he went to set. Not talking about Bill Duke, talking about Carl Weathers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just a word of caution. Has anyone seen, is there a 4K of Predator that's out?
I think so.
I think they're coming out, or it may have just come out recently.
The original film quality is better than 4K. So I have no idea. I think sometimes they repackage this stuff just to sell
there's
it.
a 4K.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see if it's worth the upgrade, because if it's, if they went back to the original film negative and did a nice restoration of it, that could be really cool. But if it's just a stepped up version of what they did to the Blu-ray, I mean, that's an abomination.
It looks like the 4K came out in 2018.
Oh, wow, that's far along.
Wow. Was that one of the first ones? Damn. Okay. So,
even the 4K would be a step down from 35 millimeter, which has far higher resolution.
right, but we're not going to be watching those in our house.
Right. But you could do. I'm not sure if the VHS or earlier Laserdisc versions were probably better than 4K. I'm not sure. We'd have to take a look.
Yeah.
No, well, usually the Laserdisc was a transfer of the VHS to the disc, and the best thing about Laserdisc is the audio. And I know because I have about 30 of them in the other room, and most of them, like the Jurassic Park one, there's no comparison. The audio on the Jurassic Park one, because it's one of the first THX Laserdiscs, sounds phenomenal. The image looks just a little bit better than VHS, but not by much.
Really?
So it all depends. Yeah, the Laserdiscs really didn't have, at least all the ones that I've experienced, they look fine. Don't get me wrong, they look fine, but they're not much higher than your VHS at all. But the audio and the other elements to it are handled really well. Though you do have to flip the disc. But I kind of like that.
Maybe 4K is the best way to watch 35 millimeter movie if it's been transferred properly and not
right
over.
That's the key, is if it's been transferred properly, which a lot of them aren't. So
yeah. Well, let's get to some questions, because we have questions and comments.
Well, audience participation happening.
Woohoo! Thanks to you, Sejua. Post up any questions for people watching. Thanks for putting out the clarion call. Cool. Trent Baker, 1987, says, my favorite part is at the end where his mom pulls up. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so dangerous, lovable sidekicks and killer CGI trees.
Now that segment, let's pause for a second. That segment where he's doing like the obstacle course, I thought that was nice. That was, energy, things were happening, no dialogue. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, if I'm going to stay with the pullover thing, because I was thinking about this while the movie was going on. Let's take Thea out of it. Let's take the Weyland-Yutani Corporation out of it. I know you want to tie this all together, Disney, because you own Fox now, but it's unnecessary. And you're already killing it with Alien Earth. And I mean that in the worst possible way. If this had just been a situation where the Yautja comes to this planet for the hunt, and by himself, and perhaps some of his gear is destroyed on the way down, and he has to be more resourceful, get in touch with the Yautja before they became these technologically advanced hunters, because I imagine that came secondary, right? Or the whole thing, beginning of the film, when they're talking about the hunt for this Kalisk, they're talking about the honor of the first kill. And it's like you choose your target, you go out and you bring back its head, or you don't come back at all. Now, that's a rich opening for a character in a Predator movie, the disgraced Yautja, who something didn't work out and they just had to stay in exile. Maybe Deck comes across one of these predators on the planet who survived the Callisk but wasn't able to kill it.
Or it could have been
maybe
the brothers on the trip.
Yeah, something like that. But what I'm saying is, with the young Bud, who's the baby Callisk, it doesn't have to be cute. Sure, make it cute. I'll give it that concession. But you can have the Yautja bonding with this thing. Maybe he thinks he can use it to his advantage in trying to kill the mother creature or something. But then at the end, he discovers the value of it and like, well, I wouldn't feel right killing this thing because of some script reason that I'm not going to try and think up tonight. Maybe the answer is he does return with this prize, but he doesn't kill it. I don't know if they tame it and put it at a predator zoo, or he just goes back to his dad and says, yeah, this ritual is dumb. There's a new way to be a Yautja or something. But
or towards the end of this new version that you're talking about, the Yutani Corporation tries to steal the Callisk for themselves, and the Yautja's like, all right, I'm not going to let these robots take my kill or my hunt, and I'm going to destroy them, and I'm going to save this animal, take it back to our planet to show that I can do it.
Or, I mean, that's a great stinger idea, Sujua. Something like that with the resolution of this thing. Yutani sweeps in at the end. We have no idea they're even involved in this universe until they show up at the end, and that's your opening to the sequel, which that would be a movie I'd watch. But this movie is afraid to be Wall-E. Have it be a practically silent film for the majority of it that's about exploring this kind of desolate, desiccated planet. And this guy's got to try and survive because everything is coming to an end and everything on this planet wants to kill them. That's a great premise that is treated with some respect early on, but there shouldn't be a campfire scene where they're sitting around kind of like relaxing and talking and telling jokes if literally the whole thing is this is the most dangerous planet on the galaxy and everything is out to kill you. That's a fascinating idea. How does the killer of killers survive on a planet that is the killer of killers killer?
That segment when he's first fighting against the planet, that was interesting, and that kind of ended. They kind of dropped that.
Yeah,
the robot lady came in.
Yeah, so I'm saying there are seeds of, I'll say, a great movie in here that is worthy of the Predator name, but to me they haven't killed it and brought back its head. All right, how about when they say it's unkillable and Dick's dad is, I guess.
He means Deck.
Oh, I was thinking of the Dick dad, because his dad is kind of a dick. Sorry, what, David?
Dad's dick. I don't know.
Yep. Wow, that's a totally different kind of Predator movie, which we're not going to talk about tonight. Yeah. Deck's dad is scared of him, yet they kill him with Predator ice bombs in seconds. Yes. In fairness, it was Tessa that killed
and the only way she was actually able to kill it with the ice bombs was to get swallowed by it and set him off.
Yeah.
From inside, because the outside
regenerates
from did not work. It regenerated as it thought. So there is that angle to it that I took it, and as much as I know we're trying to be critical, there's a lot with sci-fi films. There's a lot of different sci-fi films where you could get nitpicked like that. Well, why didn't this go like this? I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing. I'm just saying that I guess it didn't bother me because I'm used to seeing that type of logic with some, weapon or something. If you go, there's a number of movies to where you go, what if they just did this? There would have been no movie. So, I mean, so as far as that point, I get it. It's not a great thing. I fully admit the flaw, but at the same time, I'm like, it didn't bother me only because I'm like, okay. I mean,
a simple version of this movie, simpler with less of the robot, I think would be similar to Predator 1. It's like sort of a survival test.
No, I'm all for Ian. I mean, when they started out, until I saw the trailer, I thought that's what it was going to be like. I thought it was going to be the Predator on this planet that's everything's trying to kill him, while he's trying to get to his trophy. I thought before I saw the trailer, all I saw was the poster and heard of, predator on a planet that's deadly, that's trying to get a creature. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then they introduced the robot in there. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna go this angle with it. And I went in with really no expectations. But I'm with Ian. I'm all for a solo hunter, very little dialogue, which you could get away with because he's an alien. He's a Yautja, so you don't have to worry about English language necessarily because he doesn't speak English. So I mean, you do three things the other ways through the pantomime and that. I think you would have made a nice 90-minute hunter film to where at the end, and this is where I thought they were going to do it at the end of this one, in all honesty, and they missed opportunity, was the fact of I thought the Calisk was still going to come back together even after she blew it up from the inside.
Oh, like T-1000 style.
It's like T-1000 style, not quite explained that way, but I thought it would have been more meaningful. You have disgraced Deck come back, and he throws the android head down. His dad just calls him out and says, yeah, you're just weak, I'm still gonna kill you. And then out of the ship comes the Calisk, the thing that's his dad's scared of, that's standing next to Deck because their loyalty. Because one of the things that there is a theme of in here is nature is more loyal to each other than people are. And I dug that theme a bit because they showed how the Yautja actually, he was able to have nature help him out because he helped them and there was loyalty. Whereas with the humans and the synths, especially, they're especially Weyland-Yutani, they're just, they're a corporation. They don't care who they betray or backstab or whoever. Along that line. So I thought that theme was cool, but I would have been just as happy, and I think it would have been even stronger film had it just been solo hunter Deck going out there
or two predators.
And run across the disgraced predator, and then it becomes a competition between these two of who can actually get the Calisk, and you have disgraced predator try to use Deck as a way to get his trophy.
Or I mean, why not? Because I don't think that's something we've seen in any of these movies, aside from maybe the xenomorph, but that doesn't really count. But an intelligent, I'd say a humanoid alien creature that is potentially the predator's predator, right? Not just a giant
aliens.
But I'm talking about like another species, another culture that maybe has evolved over time because they've had to deal with the Yautja.
Right.
That they, make. What if our Deck character and a bunch of his friends were down on this planet, like we've heard about another kind of Yautja lore, to do their big hunt, but they end up being Dutch and his crew from the first Predator.
Right.
Right.
That'd be definitely an interesting twist on it.
Do you guys think Disney will ever Disneyfy the alien?
They already have.
They already have
Alien Earth.
Yeah.
They've already got people talking to it and it like obeying commands and.
Yeah, true. Singing and dancing in the next movie.
That was in Spaceballs.
We had that in Spaceballs. That was far better than Alien Earth.
But that was Fox, wasn't it? Is that now part of that? Is Spaceballs now part of the?
It would be, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
In the next standalone movie, it'll be that kind of a xenomorph, xenomorph, the entertainer.
Well, I won't have that scar my brain because I will not be around to see it.
That's not an Ian movie.
Nope. Let's see. Dick's dad is scared of the cowlick, but then it's easily captured with predator tech. I'd rather watch the predator try and get Asperger's or autism. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Lol with the predator dogs. Haha. At least it keeps the predator like a predator. Lol savage. Okay. It's a 0 as a predator film, and as a film, it's just mid. Like we've seen this done to death all year. Find a family, Thunderbolts. Hey, I'm a defender of Thunderbolts, but you're also absolutely correct.
Disney movie.
Yeah, another Disney film. As a film, it's 5, just average, doesn't do anything new. It's a movie about a predator with daddy issues. Is this really the best story to follow? Like, really?
For the teen
Predator
audience,
jokes.
maybe it is.
Well, but I think that's the kind of the issue is, and this is a problem with a lot of what Disney has been doing for like at least the last 10 years since they've been swallowing up all these IP, is they are turning everything into like daddy issue storytelling and therapy culture and all that, and that's fine. But I don't think it's necessary to be a core part of all popular entertainment that's coming out from the studio.
So Disney could have a segment of their companies that makes adult stuff for grown-ups, right?
They used to, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just money. So why not make real Predator movies?
Touchstone and Buena Vista Entertainment, baby.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
Ruthless
people. Oh, jinx!
Yeah.
I think that might have been the first Touchstone.
Was it?
Yeah.
It might have been. I know there were many reasons to watch Ruthless People, a couple in general, but talk about hot during the summer. Anyway,
let's see. I make better Predator movies in Sora. Unfortunately, that's going to be the future, I think.
We'll see.
Since they had his mom pull up, hopefully she's like a Karen Predator since Dick was an emo kid. All right. Prey sucks to the Predator is, I'm not going to finish reading that.
Right, I like the movie Prey. I didn't say anything about it, but that was a good movie.
I enjoyed Prey quite a bit. Prey was a far more of a Predator movie than this one for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
It was, Prey with a girl in it. I mean, that's the thing, is that it would follow the template. And yeah, I did not like Prey, but for reasons that were discussed on the Prey live stream from a few years ago, which folks can go and check out in the archive.
Ian is like, I only like the first Predator. That's all he's going to say for the rest of time.
No, I also liked Alien versus Predator for reasons. Yeah,
I'll have to.
And I liked Predators
2 as well.
Predator 2 was solid. And it also set up this whole wacky cross-pollination universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say
Predators didn't have too many problems.
Predators, I thought, was my recollection of it was I liked it better the second time, but I still am a bit iffy on that whole ending thing.
The ending was a little
Yeah.
Outside of the ending of Predators, I really liked Predators. I thought
Goggins too.
Yes.
Was like movie logic, but yeah. But outside of it was pretty solid.
Yeah, well, but I felt like that for a number of films. Thunderbolts, I would have really enjoyed if it wasn't for the last 5 minutes of that movie. So, anyway.
So, all right, Causer D. Agouv. I liked the movie. What I didn't like was the monkey thing and Thea's legs having a mind of their own and fighting. There you go. Trent Baker 87 says, let's be honest, what did this movie give us? People love shitting on AVP2, but that gave us a Predalien, which was just name dropped. This movie gave us Dumb Jar Jar, but at least that movie gave us Dart Maul. You see what?
Huh?
I'm saying. Okay, got it.
What they're saying is like Phantom Menace at least gave us Darth Maul, even though it wasn't great. So AVP2 gave us a Predalien, even though it wasn't great.
Let's see. I bet any money this is a rejected Mandalorian script. They knew it was basic, but if you throw a Predator in it, we kind of talked about that at the beginning. Yeah. Alien Earth, what you mean? You can have a xenomorph dog.
Alien Earth was not that great. I like the cinematography and the mood though.
The first Touchstone film was actually Splash. Wow.
Yeah, 1984, and then Down and Out in Beverly Hills in 86, and then Ruthless People in 86, Color of Money 86.
Yeah.
That was a huge year. Wow,
David's
they really
got all the data.
Yeah.
David is a Yutani robot for Touchstone.
Well, David was one of the first Yutani incidents. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the comments we have. I think that's all the time we have because I want to get to sleep because I spent a good portion of the afternoon watching this movie. And even though I didn't like it, even though it didn't interest me, I did stay awake through the entire thing because I was so aggravated. But I will say the one cool thing to come out of Predator Badlands, look, it's so Disney-fied. Even the logo looks like it's from Star Wars. Go back and look at the logo. It's Predator, and then like the frame and Badlands in the middle.
Yeah.
I think they mushed up the cinematography on purpose to make it a softer movie.
Possibly, but yeah, it's a kind of digital slop. But yeah, the mushiness started with the screenplay. That's all I'm saying. But Mark, I think the best thing to come out of Predator Badlands, in my estimation, is that lovely popcorn bucket you have on your shelf back there.
The popcorn bucket is freaking awesome, man. I didn't think anything would appeal to me after I got Gaming Galactus, as I call him, the big galactic head.
Nice.
But when I saw that, the kid in me who just loves spaceship toys back in the day, I do enjoy the design. If nothing else, I understand all the criticism with the plots and that, and for sure, but I did enjoy the production design. I thought they captured a lot of the design as far as the tech in that felt like Predator tech, like when they're in the cockpit and everything, and the design of the ship and that. And I will say as well that Deck looked better here than he did in the trailers that they first brought out of Predator. I don't know if the effects just weren't quite done with it or not, but at least here they gave his face a little bit more texture, whereas in the trailers, if you look at that, every single one is so, his face is so smooth. And so in here he did look a little bit better, and while I would have loved to see practical for sure, the CGI I thought with his face and everything looked really good. We saw it in 3D. You don't have to see it in 3D. The 3D added nothing to the film because
Visuals were not better.
The visuals weren't any better. No, they really weren't. It didn't add anything. I watching it, there's certain films out there that even if they blew chunks for me, the 3D would be really good because they use the depth. You feel the depth. They didn't have that here. So I'm almost guessing 3D was post and not actual during.
Probably, because usually when they do that, they'll put that in the advertising, like film for 3D or film for film for 3D IMAX,
filmed in 3D or filmed in IMAX, and in here they didn't promote it even though they're offering it. So I think it was in post, and you can tell with it. But the mushing is in general is what's happening with films, especially they're finding a way to try to blend the CGI better by taking your color palette and washing it out.
Yeah, it looks like everything's pea green for no reason.
There's a number of high effects movies, unfortunately, that aren't using practical effects, and you can tell because their color palette gets very muted.
Desaturated for no good reason. When you look at the first one, it's rich. It's just a guy in a suit in the jungle, so they didn't have to hide too many things. And rich contrast, and it tells you the kind of story it's going to be.
I mean, even your most of your superhero films, I will say, even to the point of Fantastic Four, if you look at it, it's not as bright as it could be. In many ways, it is not as bright as, let's say Barbie. I know some people really didn't like the film, but as far as production design, they did all those practical effects, and they were able to do so much with color that you don't see with a lot of films anymore because it was practical effects. You can do so much more with practical, and I would have liked to see the practical effects on the face. And I'll shut up. Just one other thing. There was a nod to the original in this, the waterfall scene. If you saw where they shot the waterfall scene, it almost looked exactly like the waterfall where the Predator and Arnold fell and did "You'll want the uglies,"
Yeah.
Well, here's my one line nonsensical review of this movie. For a Mandalorian movie, it's a pretty good Predator movie.
Yes, it is a great Mandalorian season 3 Predator movie. I also want to pull over and just acknowledge that this comment about the Touchstone film, first one being Splash, was from Jeff York, Chicago. So, hey, Jeff. Sorry, Trent Baker was commenting so much that I kind of got lost in the flood of comments.
And then Country was the second, he said.
Okay. Splash, Country, Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend, My Science Project, Down and Out in Beverly Hills, Offbeat with Judge Reinhold,
oh my gosh,
Ruthless People, Tough Guys, The Color of Money, Outrageous Fortune, Tin Men, Ernest Goes to Camp.
Jeff gets particular about facts. You have to.
The Color of Money is like the opposite of the Baby Predator movie. certainly in cinematography.
Put that on the poster. All right. Well, gang, got a couple of bits of business before we get out of here. Next week, a lot going on. Well, actually, no, hold on. Forget about that. This Thursday, it's a 2 live stream week. So this Thursday,
Don't cross the streams.
Well, Earth's Mightiest Critics will return with a huge panel for our roundtable review of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. That'll be Thursday night. And then next Wednesday, we're going to be going the distance with Edgar Wright's take on The Running Man. So mark your calendars and join us for both shows, which will be live at 8 p.m. Central. Early next week, this will not be a live show, but it'll be recorded over the weekend. Sujiwa and I will be in conversation with Jeff York, Chicago, talking about Richard Linklater.
Nouvelle Vague movie from Linklater. I saw it. It's great. It's funny. It's breezy. It's kind of fast, like the Predator, the Baby Predator.
Hey, save it for next week.
You said save it for next week.
But I recommend it.
Have not seen. I'm going to watch it when it hits Netflix. I'm very excited to see that, and also going to be revisiting Breathless because Nouvelle Vague is about the making of Breathless. Right. So yeah, 2 great filmmakers, and I'm excited for that one. Jeff closes it out with saying, "Hi all, terrific show tonight. Thank you, Jeff, for helping make it terrific." Yeah, but yeah, a lot going on, and I think that's all of my announcements. So. This is also, it's a Kicking the Seat live stream. So if you like what we had to say tonight or didn't like it, but you still liked enough to stick around, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. Please be sure to follow all of Earth's Mightiest Critics. Their information is down below. And I am Ian Simmons of Kicking the Seat. We have Sujiwa Ekanayaka of
the Seinfeld Predator. What's the point of all this hunting?
I could see him up on the stage in the cold open. What is the deal? All this hunting. Yautja.
What's with the dreadlocks?
Yautja. So Sujiwa, the director of the forthcoming 53 Spaceships and Cosmic Disco Detective Renee from 2023, as you helpfully put on your description there. Mark the Movie Man Krawcheck of Special Mark Productions and the Spoiler Room Podcast. David Fowley of Keeping It Real. And we have all of our lovely commenters who livened up the chat this evening. Thank you very much.
And I have a film festival coming up soon.
You do. And I'll have information. I'm going to put some links to that below as well.
I'll send you.
Yes. I think that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching our Predator Badlands show. I already did that, all that stuff. So until next time,
you're all covered.
Whenever that is, whatever that is,
stay on the hunt.
Thursday, 8 p.m. Frankenstein. Yes, stay on the hunt. Thank you. Take care. And I'm going to go get to the chopper.
There you go. Get some rest.